alav shalom, in the entry called Sniut, modesty, privacy. Says the Psikta Rabbati, there is nothing more precious. There is nothing more precious to Hashem than modesty. Sefer Mitzvot Katans, the Smak writes, Mitzniut Mitzvat Aseh. Being modest is a positive commandment in the Torah. That's how he counts in the 613. One of them is modesty. So therefore, the sages say that when Hashem created Chava, he created her from where? Ve'ven Hashem et Sela. He created Chava from the rib of Adam Rishon. Hitbonen me'ayin librota. Look where he created her from. Mim makom shehu sanua. A place that is covered. Usually a person's rib is not seen by others. It's covered. So therefore he made the woman from there in order to teach her tehei snua, tehei snua, tehei snua. Just like I made you from the rib that's covered, you should also be covered. So sages tell us in Midrash that what? That King David writes in Sefer Tehillim. I'm sorry, not in Midrash. Sefer Tehillim. He writes, Kol kvoda bad melech penima. The entire glory of a princess is to be hidden within the privacy of her home. Then we know Kimhit, the Gemara says in Masechet Yuma 47a, Miyamai lara'u korot beiti sa'arot roshi. From all her days of her life, the walls of her house never saw the hair of her head, and therefore she was married to what? Zachta shiatsu mimena shiva banim kulam kohen gdola. Every one of her 7 sons were Kohen Gadol. One died, next one became Kohen Gadol. The other one died, next one became Kohen Gadol. 7 sons, Kohen Gadol. Why? In the merit of her modesty. So the Zohar tells us that if a woman is tnua, says Sefer Parashat Bereshit, Kol zman de'iteta be'yakete beta v'no lafka lavar, harei hi tnua v'itchazel leolda benin dechesherin. Zohar says when a woman is modest, she is fit to have worthy children. She will have very good children. Says the Gemara Masechet B'Mesiah. Why did angels, when they come to Avraham Avinu's house, they asked them, "Where is your wife Sarah?" What were they doing? Says the Gemara, they knew where she was. They're angels, but they wanted to make Avraham have more love for her. How did they do that? How did they do that? They said, "Look how tzanuah she is. Look, where is she? Oh, she's in the tent. We don't see her. You see, you should love your wife more. Look how tzanuah she is." So the reason our husband should love his wife, says the Gemara, is because she's tzanuah, because she's modest. Says the Gemara Masechet Megillah, why did she zochet to have Shaul HaMelech come from her? B'schar tzniut, because she was tzanuah, so she had merited to have Shaul HaMelech come from her. The Gemara says Masechet Shabbat Kuf Yud Gimel Amud Bet says Ruth Davar tzniut Ra'aba. Why did Boaz agree to marry Ruth? How did he know she's a good woman? He saw, how did she pick up the wheat? She picked it up bending her knees. She didn't bend over. She bent her knees, tnuah way, so therefore he knew she's a good woman for him. Yes, exactly. So, the Gemara says that in Masechet Shabbat Nun Gimel, that a person has to make sure shetem mekashetet bahem betoch beita. The Gemara says that a woman should be extremely beautiful for where? In the house, not in the street. What is she getting beautiful for? For the husband. So she should get dressed up in the house, not be shmata in the house and then be beautiful outside. Nabarot should be shmata outside and beautiful in the house. The Midrash says, what is the reason a woman gets tachshitin? Lo nitenu tachshitin leisha ela shetem mekashetet tohem betoch beita. Woman's jewelry is for what purpose? That she should wear them in the dome, in the house, not in the street. That's the point of the jewelry. Says the Gemara about, the Yerushalmi says about the Imi. There was a guy named Imi, and his wife, what did she do? She wore ma'anin sa'im meluchlachin. She would wear outside the dirty clothes, and when she came home, she changed to the nice clothes. So you see that she wanted nobody to look at her in the street. She didn't want to make people sin, and then she made sure to get her attention of her husband when she was home. So therefore, we should learn from the woman how they dress. We should learn for ourselves also. The men have to be tzanua, modest with how they dress and how they present themselves, not to be flashy and to be modest. We have to ask ourselves this question, remind myself all the time, is what are they going to say in your yoshvo? They're going to say in your shvuah, he always wore Ferragamo, he always wore Gucci, he always had nice Patek, he always had a Rolex. No, they're not going to say these things. He always drove BMW. No, they're not going to say these things. What are they going to say? They're going to say he was sanua. He was a good person. He learned every day. He raised his children the right way. He was an honest man. He was a person who gave smiles to everybody in the street. He gave people help. They're not going to say how flashy you were. That's not going to be a zechut. Therefore, a person should be striving for things that, imagine, if they were talking about in your shvuah, this is something I should invest in. If they're not, so why care so much about it?